I had a ton of fun playing back to basics with like full power, Rise Duel and everything like that. But I had even more fun at the end with the budget Blue Eyes deck. Um, it took me back to when I first started playing again, and I didn't have access to all these like crazy powerful cards. I didn't have the massive card pool I have now, where I can just switch decks as I want to, kind of switch out tech whenever I want because I've just picked up a bunch of cards over time. And so I wanted to give myself a challenge. So while I have back to basics and I'll be playing, full power, whatever deck I feel like playing there, I wanted to actually continue to play that budget Blue Eyes deck. And so we're going to actually do budget builders with that deck. And with that in mind, I figured let's get started. We've already picked up our cards for this week. I have a $15 limit for increasing the power of my deck. And that's after doing some math and thinking about it, I realized that, back when I first started, I had about $100 a month to spend on whatever I wanted. And so I would always do 4 locals a week at $10. So that's $40 right there, which left me with $60 a month to power up my deck. So we divide that by 4, and that's $15 a week. So that's where we get that. Another couple of things, though, with this is that these card pools are actually completely separate. Unlike in Back to Basics, I don't have access to everything for this deck. I am legitimately keeping it so the only things that I have are the structure decks and the cards that came with them, the initial investment in the budget deck that I have, and then the $15 to upgrade my cards every week. So that's it. So you're not going to be seeing me just like casually dropping in the Primate engine and stuff right away. I might be able to get to that point at some point if I could build up my collection and trade for it, but that's it. Which actually brings me to another point, that for this series, trading can only be done with cards that I've gotten in the series. So everything's gonna be kept starting in this binder until I get a bigger collection. And right now, the only things I have are 2 secret rare Blue Eyes Ultimate Spear Dragons and 1 secret rare Maiden of White, which is a pretty limited trade binder. So hopefully we can get some pretty awesome cards to start off with, because otherwise it's gonna be a rough couple weeks. So we're gonna have to see if just being able to play better than our opponents will get us there, because if we can't, then I'm gonna be struggling to get some of the power-ups that I desperately need. But I'm gonna profile the deck with the changes that I made, as well as going over all of the changes that all of the cards I picked up for this week. So let's dig in. All right, so let's jump in. First things first is all of the stuff will be kept in this Dueling Guard chest bag while I can. Obviously, eventually I'll need to get a bigger bag once my binder gets too massive because I'm just weighing too much. But the Budget Builder series is here, and this is actually going to be where it starts, is right in here. This will fit my binder, my mat, my deck, and everything else that I need. So these collections are going to be totally separate, which is pretty awesome. But let's just jump right into the deck that I have this week. It is an update from the OTS Championship deck profile. So if you want to see the basics of this deck, go ahead and check out the budget Blue Eyes White Dragon deck with Metamorph cards in it that I had posted before, as well as the combo video if you want to learn the basics of how to play this. So first things first, we have our 3 Sages, then our 3 Maidens, 2 Blue Eyes White Dragon, 3 Wishes for Eyes of Blue, Ultimate Fusion, Mausoleum of the White, Roar of the Blue-Eyed Dragons, True Light, and Majesty of the White Dragons. That has not changed at all. The Blue Eyes engine, I think, is pretty much just going to stay the way it is. I don't see any need to really change it until we get better cards, and then we can maybe cut the Ultimate Fusion. For a secondary engine, we have the Black Metal package. So we have 3 Black Metal Dragon, the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, Red Eyes Black Full Metal Dragon, and Max Metal Morph. And then for additional consistency, we have Pot of Prosperity. None of this has changed from the previous deck profile, so we can breeze through that. The non-engine has changed with some of our power-ups this week. So we have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 3 Effect Veiler. We actually moved the Droll and Lockbirds to the main deck instead of the Nibirus. This was because I felt like Droll and Lockbird will be more impactful if we're going to be playing into more mirror matches, really punish them for playing into it and being too greedy. It's also solid against Ryzeal, and overall I just feel like Nibiru just doesn't do quite enough. Then we have 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbits still, the 1 Bestial Magnamut. One of the big increases I have for the deck is a Bestial Baldrake. This was like less than $1. Obviously, if you have Druid's Worm, that is better, but working with what we got here so far. And Baldrake was a fantastic pickup. It's another summon off of Spheres, which is going to be really good. It's also just another really good search off of the Magnamut. Then I also have the 3 Infinite Impermanence and the 3 Solemn Strikes. So that is the changes to the main deck are the Dual Knockbirds for the Nibiru's, and then Baldrake was just added in to put it to 42. 41 versus 42 really isn't a difference. It's a very minute difference in percentages, so if you're worried about not seeing your starter cards too much, don't worry. It doesn't change the math all that much. For the extra deck, this is actually the exact same, so we're just going to rush through this. We have Neo Blue Eyes, Tyrant Dragon, we have Ultimate Spirit, Lightstorm Dragon, Azure Eyes, double Regular Spirit, 1 Moonlight, the Typhon, that is the single most expensive card in the deck, 2 Spirit with Eyes of Blue, 2 Heretic Seal, the SP, and the Lina. This is all very much just like solid good cards. This is actually pretty reasonable just to play in even regular Blue Eyes. Like with the Primite cards, you could take out the Azure Eyes for something like Detonator, though, if you were playing Metaltronus, which hopefully we can get our hands on. But overall, this just does a really solid job. Then for the side deck, we have 3 Artifact Lancia, 3 Fantastical Dragon Phantasmes. This is going to be a huge part, I think, is going to have being able to use that card. Now we're only down to 2 Chaos Hunters, and that's actually because of the other big increase in power I have for this week, which was the Harpy's Feather Duster, the 2 Lightning Storms, and the Artifact Sanctum. So these 3 cards in Duster and 2 Lightning Storms are actually the most expensive part of the increase to power. The 2 Lightning Storms were $2 each, and then the Harpy's Feather Duster, I believe, was $4. So that's $8 of my $15 total, but I think I only spent like $12. But having access to the best removal that is just commonly played right now, I think is going to be really important. And this is an example of like something that can take, it's a small step that just makes like a huge difference. It's having access to these board wipes. And then the last card was the 3 Solemn Judgments. I just wanted to make sure that when I go first, I can side in and have I'm basically playing like a purple deck at this point. When I'm going first with this deck, I think, especially games 2 and 3, I'm going to turn it into Tyrant control. So I am effectively just going to try to turbo to Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, and then just use all of these trap cards to back it up. The cool thing is that if they ever get rid of the Tyrant Dragon, I can always just use Blue Eyes Ultimate Spear Dragon to bring back the Tyrant, so I don't even need to play more than 1 right now. Although in future weeks, I could definitely see considering more than 1 copy, because that card is just really good. So that is the actual deck that I'm playing tonight. Just so you are aware of some of the power-ups, though, that I have gotten, but I've set off to the side, we have the 1-for-1 Monster Born, 3 Twin Twisters. I wanted to have these as well as the Lightning Storms and Dusters. Plus, thanks to Rarity Collection, all of these cards are less than $0.25 each. We have 3 D-Barriers. This is just going to be a generically good card for Ryzeal and Blue Eyes especially. And again, this was like dirt cheap. Skill Drain, 3 Book of Eclipse. I couldn't find Book of Moons in time, which was unfortunate because that's a card I really wanted to consider. But that was all right. And then we have another Baldrake. Couldn't find a 3rd one, but now I have at least 2 for the collection, which is going to be pretty good. And then we have number 38, which is a good Light Dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, and Crystal Wing for if I ever want to take out some stuff and actually have this be one of the packages, because I can always just Spirit Dragon into Ancient Fairy Dragon, and then Ancient Fairy Dragon can summon a level 1 tuner and go into Crystal Wing, giving me another monster negate. And then I have Access Code, Unicorn, and Celine. These are just going to be generically good Link monsters to have for our collection later on as well, just because, you know, they're all pretty cheap and they're all really powerful. So thanks to Rarity Collection, this powering up our deck is actually pretty darn cheap. I think with everything it was $12 and change, so that's pretty much it. But let's get off to locals because it's going to be starting here pretty soon, and we have to get our packs. First 2 packs.
Butler, give me your quick ban list.
So that first tournament did not go so well. I ended up going like 1-2, which is really upsetting. But it is what it is when we're playing a budget deck. So we ended up playing against the mirror match, which was pretty cool. But I ended up breaking in game 3. And then I ended up playing against... let's see, I played the mirror match. I played 10 Pipe Blue Eyes, which is a really cool budget option that I have too, that we'll have to look at maybe picking up cards for in the future. That one I ended up winning game 3 because he didn't really know all of his card effects too well. He had said it had been a while since he played 10 Pi cards. He used to play it before and just kind of forgot how they were working, so that was, you know, we'll take those. He's a newer player, so it's understandable that would happen. And then match 3, I played against Mitsurugi Ogdoadic, which is like this crazy combo deck. And he just popped off. Like, I did not draw enough hand traps or any defensive cards really to stop him. So that was unfortunate. However, we did pick up a couple of really cool cards. You know, in our entry packs, we got a couple of super rares. I ended up trading the Secret Maiden for a secret rare Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon, which I then traded for some staples, which you guys will see in a second. So overall, it was pretty good. You know, sucks that we didn't get any prizing, but that, you know, that is what it is. So let's take a look at what we got, though.